Okay, hello students. Today we are going to start with the new elective subject. This is one of the departmental elective subjects, which is building service and repairs. So school code is CE 5063. Okay. So let's first go through an overview of this subject as per Mumbai University. What Mumbai University has given us for this. Okay, so what we have to learn in this subject. Okay, so basically there are two subjects which has been given to you for opting purpose. First is building service and repair, and second one is advanced concrete technology. Okay, so I guess you all have choose your subject wisely. Okay, so let's start about it. First, we'll see the teaching scheme. What exactly is the teaching scheme? Teaching scheme is same as that of the previous one. Like we have a theory of 3 hours and have a practical of 2 hours. And total credit for this subject is again good. So as the credit is more, so this subject is one of your important subject as far as your syllabus is concerned. As far other subjects are also concerned. Okay. Next, the evaluation scheme. Evaluation scheme is also the same. 20 marks of term test 1 and term test 2. For end semester examination, you have total 80 marks. Next, term work and oral comprises of the same 25 marks. Okay. Next, as we think about why we are learning this subject, building services and repairs. So what exactly is this service and repairs? Whenever till now what you have studied in building materials and concrete technology, you learn how to make building. What are the problems which will come into this building that you haven't learned in details. But that's what we are going to learn in this subject. So what are the problems being associated with it and how to overcome these problems. So that's what you have to learn in this. So building service is nothing but you are giving service to someone. It's not something product or goods which you are getting. There are two ways we are giving things, like by giving goods and by giving service. So in this subject, we are learning how to give the service so that the building is going to be the normal. Okay. So what are the things? Now question arises, why we have to give the service to the building? So as we are human, like we sometimes may get fear or cough or something like that. So what do? We go to the doctor and give a checkup to them. Okay, so then doctor gives a solution that eat this medicine or do something, then you will become fine. So that's what we are going to do for the building. So basically, we are the doctors for buildings. Okay, so this subject is nothing but the MBBS for our civil engineering. Okay, so now why these things has come into this picture? Why the building is get sick or why the building is get deteriorated? There are two major factors which is considered. First is the environmental condition. Different area has different environmental impacts, right? Different because of this environmental impact, we have to design in that way. You must have learned about the exposure condition in building materials, right? What are those exposure conditions? Like mild, moderate, severe, very severe, and extreme. These are the conditions. So, what are these conditions? These are the environmental conditions which is being impacted on the building. So, we have to taken care about this condition and have to construct the building in that way. Okay. And what is the next thing we can do? Next thing is the design and construction. While constructing anything, we have to make sure that we are using the good quality material. We have to make sure that the design which we are getting from the designer is of good quality. Like there should not be any kind of mistakes or there should not be any kind of misleading thing which is being happen on the site or in the design. So if these two things are good, then the problem associated with the building so is comparatively less and it's significantly going to be the least. Okay, so that's what we are concerned about. So it's like prevention is better than cure. So it's better to prevent the building from getting deteriorated. Okay, so that's what we are going to do in this. Okay. Next is course objective. Now, what are the course objective? What is the objective means? What is our aim? Why we are learning this subject? Like where we have to go through after learning this subject, what we are going to get. That's what we have to learn in this subject. Okay. to understand the concept of building service and its application. What are the building services? Like repairing the damages and all these things that comes in the building services and its application. So what we are going to get after it, that's what we are going to learn in first objective. Second is to understand the design concept of the various machineries like lift, escalator, vibrator, concrete mixer, etc. And utility services in the building like plumbing system and the electrical system. Now this plumbing system and electrical system is the annexure topics. Okay, like what we have said in the previously in the environmental one, that rainwater harvesting, air and noise pollution are one of the annexure topics for this subject. So these are some of the annexure topics. Like it's okay if we don't know about this topic, but that's why it comes into elective now. This plumbing system and electric system is not going to come into a core civil engineering thing. But while you are constructing any building, so this plumbing and electrical system has to be taken into consideration. Why? Say for example, if we construct the whole building, and nowadays the whole wiring is concealing, right? You do understand what the concealing wiring is, right? We can't see any kind of wiring which is going, which we can't see any kind of wiring on our wall. Previously, like decade or 2 decade, the wiring is being shown. We use the wires or we are using the pipelines for that purpose. Okay, so now the wire is being concealed. So while concealing the wire, so what we have to do while constructing it, we have to give this sections. We have to make a line so that we can conceal the wire into it. So we have to have a knowledge of electrical as well as similarly for the plumbing system. We can't see any kind of the pipeline system which is being present in our house. Everything is being concealed. Now, why we have concealed all these things? Because it gives the unaesthetical view that totally that basically don't we basically don't like to see the pipe is being going here and there. That's why we consider all these things. Okay, so for that purpose we have to have a knowledge about this plumbing system and electrical system. And as far as this other machineries are concerned, why we are learning the machineries? So that we are going to use this lift, escalators, vibrator, concrete. These are some of the machineries which we are going to use during the construction or after the construction, right? What are the things which we are going to use during the construction, like vibrators and concrete mixture? These are the things which we are going to use during the in the course of construction. So we have to know which kind of equipment we have to use for the construction. Otherwise, we don't understand which one we have to bring for the in the construction site. And these lift and escalators are the things which we are going to use throughout the life of the building. Okay, so we also have to get to know about this. So what is the size of elevator, size of lift we have to use, which kind of lift we have to use in our building, commercial building, or for the domestic purpose, and for the public building, which kind of lift we are going to use. That each and everything you have to known to us. Known. Okay. Next is to get familiar with the cause of distress of concrete structure, seepage, leakage in concrete structure, and the effect on the steel corrosion. Now, what is meant by distress of concrete structure? Distress is something, say for example, if you as a person, now you are like 20, 22 years old, you have some stresses, right? You have working stress. As you grow old, you also going to get the work stress, public stress, and everything. You are going to get the stress. So what is this stress? These are the stress which going to degrade you. So similarly for the concrete, there are some stresses which they are going to get over a period of time. Like period of time means what? Over a life of their building. Say for example, this stress are nothing but the stress due to cracks, seepages, and leakages. All these are the stresses which going to occur on the building or on the concrete. We can say precisely, we can say it's on the concrete structure or the structural elements. These stresses are going to come into the picture. So we have to overcome these stresses as well. Okay. And the effect of the steel corrosion. Steel corrosion is also one of the important things which we are going to discuss in later slides. Okay. Next is to study the condition survey. To study the condition survey, evaluating and assessment of damage through the visual and various non-destructive methods. Now, what is meant by the condition survey? You must have done the subject surveying, right? What you have done exactly in this surveying? you go to the site and survey the whole area. That means you see what is being present, what topography is being present, how the land patterns are. So similarly, we have to survey of what building. Say for example, there is one colony. You have to take a survey of it. So you go to each and every house and check whether the wall is okay, whether the structural elements are okay, whether the tiles are okay or not. All these are coming to the survey. Then what do you do? Then you evaluate and assess the damage. So what are the problems which is being associated with them? Okay, you can some of them you can see direct using the visual inspection, and some of by using the non-destructive testing method. Okay, now visual inspection is okay, like you can see the cracks. Most of the things has been done visually, but visual inspection gives the error. Why? Some says that the crack is not that much of relevant. Some says it is so much irrelevant. Okay, so we can't judge. This visual inspection is come something personal. Okay, so for that purpose, there are some non-destructive methods also, so that we can get to know uh, how the element or how the structure is behaving. Okay, so for that purpose, there are some non-destructive methods. What are some non-destructive methods which you have already known, like uh, non-destructive methods like air rebound hammer, UPV, infrared thermography. These are some of the non-destructive methods which you haven't seen mostly in your locality or in your college, right? Next is to acquire the knowledge in connection with the spatial repair materials and cracks repair methodology to be applied in the field. Next is you also have a knowledge in connection with the spatial repairs materials. Now, what is spatial repair materials? Say, for example, in traditional way, like in 90s or in 80s, when we used to see any cracks, then what the person used to do? They just take a line and just pour into this, or they just fill that cracks. So this way, the cracks is being shown totally, when the cracks is not being seen. But this method is useful. No, this method is useful for some time being, but not for, this is not a permanent solution to it. But for the permanent solution, there are some new repair materials being present. There is one repair method which comes in the which gives by the Fevicol company. There is one adhesive substance which is come into this box. We just apply to it and just pour into it. Then this goes inside and they are going to fill it properly. So these are some of the spatial repair materials which you have to have a knowledge about it. Relational method is not going to make everything okay. Sometimes it's okay to use it, but it's not that much effective. So this crack is going to come after some times also. So these are not the things which you have to do. You have to have used this spatial repair materials for that purpose. And crack repair methodology. Now, how to repair this crack? There are some methodology associated to it that you have to understand. Okay. Next is and last is to study the concrete protective materials, thermal protection coatings, etc., and implement the steel corrosion protection methods in the field. So this is also one of the things which you have to know. Like fever and cough are basically a problem associated with the human. Similarly, the corrosion is the health problem for the steel. So when corrosion is the health problem to the steel. Whenever you see that there is corrosion in the steel, what you can say that the steel is not healthy. That is, steel is corroded, so it's not going to give the service to you. So you have to make sure that whatever you are using, whether it's steel or concrete, they have to have give you a service to it. So what you have to do? You have to use the corrosion protection. So for corrosion protection, there is some corrosion inhibitor. So there is one corrosion inhibitor. Basically, it is a chemical which is being mixed with the water. After mixing with the water and after applying it, the rate of corrosion ultimately decreases. It's okay that it's okay that the corrosion takes place, but rate is comparatively less. So that thing what we have to use in our daily life, okay, or in the field also. So these are some of the objectives which you have to go through during the course of your study. Okay, next we will see the contents. Now in contents, first is the machineries. First topic, there are total 6 topics or 6 modules we can say. First one is the machineries. Now, why is the machineries is important? Machineries is important so that we can install this in our home or in our building. Okay. So there are some machineries which we are going to use during the course of the construction and after the construction as well. So we have to have a knowledge about this machineries. Okay, that's what we are going to learn in this first. Second one is the plumbing system and the fire safety in the building. Plumbing system and the fire safety. These are two important things. Now, plumbing system, as you already know, that it is nothing but the connection of pipes and taps and all those things. Next is the fire safety. Now, what is fire safety? In last 2 to 3 decades, fire safety of building is not that much of concern. Now we are living in a city like metro city like Mumbai. So fire safety is so much important. As as soon as we think about the fire safety, what is the first thing which comes to your mind? Fire safety means the fire, whenever the fire being broke out in any area or any building, we have to make sure that the people or the occupant who is living or being present in the building is should be get out of the building so that they should not be get any injured. Okay, so that's what we have to take into consideration. So for that purpose, what we have to do, what safety we can do, and what are the precautions we have to take into consideration for this purpose. Okay, next is the electrical system and the illumination design in the building. This is again one of the basic topic which any electrical engineer know about. So what is AC, what is DC, what is three phase, what is single phase, what are the luminous design which we have to use so that our building seems to be aesthetically pleasant. So that's what we are going to learn in this topic, in this module. Next module is the deterioration of the concrete structure. Now, deterioration is concrete structure is nothing but the problem which is being associated with the building during the course of their lifespan. Okay, so what are the deterioration like the seepage, then dampness, all these are the deterioration of the concrete or in the building structure. So what are the deterioration? That's what we are going to learn. After learning this deterioration, we have to make sure that how to overcome this problem. For overcoming this problem, we have to have a condition survey, evaluation, and damage assessment. These things I have already talked about, tell you in the previous slide during objective. Okay, so you basically know about all these things: condition survey, evaluation, and the damage assessment. Next and last is the material and repair methodology, protection of concrete structure and rebar corrosion protection. So at last, what we have to do, we have to make sure that what are the repair methodologies, how to do this problem, how whenever the problem is being associated with any building, how to overcome this problem, what are the method, what you can't just go directly and start doing something. There are some steps, there are some methodology which you have to learn about, which you have to taken care of during this repair protection. And the protection of concrete structure and rebar corrosion protection. Rebar corrosion protection is one of the important things. Why? Because whenever we talk about this rebar corrosion, any structural member, what are the structural member? Beam, column, slab, all these are the structural member. This structural member comprises of only two things. First is concrete and second one is the reinforcement. Whatever the problem which is being associated with the concrete, which we have already learned in previously. But what about the reinforcement? What are about the steel which we have embedded into the concrete? So what are the problems associated with the concrete? The most important one is the corrosion. The rest of the thing, I don't think there is too much of the problem which is being associated with the rebars or the steel. Uh, mostly it's the corrosion. So that's what you have to taken care of. Okay. So that's all the content of your syllabus for the building material, building repairs and services. Sorry, building services and repairs. Okay. Now let's see one by one what we are going to learn in details about this topics. Okay. First one is the machineries. Machinery comprises of first lift and escalator. Lift and escalator are one of the basic things which you have been encountered in day-to-day life. So what are the special features required for the physically handicapped and the elderly people? Now you can use it lift and escalator, but what about the physically handicapped people and the elderly people? So how they are going to take care about all these things that you have to learn. Next is the conveyor, vibrators, and concrete mixer. These are uh, some of the machineries which we are going to use during the course of construction. Next is DC AC motor, generators, laboratory service, These are some of the topics which we are going to learn, like gas, water, air, and electricity, hot water boilers, and pumps. That's what we are going to learn in detail. Okay. So next is these are, you must have seen this in the malls and all these things. These are called lifts and elevators. Okay, elevators. Lifts are something which directly goes in the vertical direction. Okay. Next is, what is this? This is the conveyor. You must have seen this in the logistic services, right? People used to work, or in the factories where multiple people has to work on the single piece. Okay, these are the conveyors which we can also use in the construction also. Next, this is the concrete vibrator. Okay, what is the purpose of this? The purpose of this to vibrate the concrete so that the concrete can become compact and all. You must have learned about this in building materials as well. And last is the concrete mixer. Okay, this thing also you have learned in the building materials. Okay. Next topic is plumbing system and the fire safety in building. So these are two different topics. Okay, first one is the plumbing services. This 2.1 and 2.2 comprises of the plumbing system. Okay, in this plumbing system, what we are going to learn, this plumbing services is something in which the water is coming into your house. And in drainage system, we are going to learn whatever the water which is being present in your home is being draining out of your home. That's what you are going to learn in this drainage system. Okay. Okay. In this plumbing system, there are water distribution system, materials for service pipe, service connection, size of service pipe, water meter, walls, and storage tanks. These are some of the topics which we are going to cover in environmental engineering work as well. Okay, in here also we are going to see the same thing, but in detail, like what is the size of service pipe being available in the market, so that in that way you have to make a connection to it. And what are this water meter? Water meter is what basically it shows how much water you have been consumed in your home. And last one is the storage tank. Storage tank is used for the storing water. Okay. Next 2.2 is the drainage system. What is the use of drainage system? It is pipe. What we are going to learn is this drainage system, like pipes, trap, system of plumbing, house drainage plan, septic tanks, and the soak pit. That's all you are going to learn in this drainage system. Okay. Next comes the, okay. So what are this? These are the PVC pipes which mostly we have used in our domestic purpose. These are called water pipes, water meter. These are called as the traps, which are mostly used. Sorry, these are called as traps, and these are called as the walls. Okay, walls, VALVA, not WALLS. Okay, these are called the walls. What is the use of wall? Wall is used to regulate the water, to either switch on or switch off, or increase or decrease the intensity of water discharge. Okay, and these are the traps. S trap, P trap, bottle trap, and all these things. These are something which we are also going to learn in environmental engineering. Okay. Next is the fire safety installation. Fire safety installation, it has comprises of two things. First is causes of fire in building. What are the things which causes the fire in the building? So that's what we are going to learn. What are the safety regulations which is given by NBC? What is NBC? National Building Code. What are the planning consideration in the building, like non-combustible material, construction, staircase and lift lobbies, fire escape, and the AC system. These are some of the things which we are going to learn, so that we are going to overcome the fire problem, causes of fire. Okay. Next is the special feature required for the physically handicapped people and elderly in the building, like heat and smoke detectors. You must have seen this heat and smoke detector mostly in the public building and the commercial building. Okay, not in our day-to-day life. Okay, not even in our domestic homes. Okay. Next is the fire alarm system, snorkel ladder. What is snorkel ladder? Snorkel ladder is something. It is one of the kind of ladder which you have seen in the fire brigade. Okay, fire truck. Have you seen the fire truck? In the fire truck there is tank, and behind that there is ladder. This ladder is called as the snorkel ladder. So we are going to learn about how to use it and how they are being manufactured and how the things has been happened. Next is, okay, running out of time. Okay, 10 minutes has left. After 10 minutes, we are going to switch into the another. Okay. Next is the fire lightning pumps and the water storage. So what is this fire lightning pumps and water storage that we are going to learn? Okay, dry and wet riser, automatic sparklers. What is automatic sparklers? You must have seen this. As soon as there is fire is broke out in the building, the sparkles will start automatically and it will force the water so that whenever there is fire which is being present in the room, it's being going to suppress it. Okay, that's what we are going to learn. Okay, one of the thing which I want to share with you, I've seen in the Discovery Plus as well, that how they used to overcome this problem of fire safety. So basically, what is the principle of the fire? What is the main thing which is required for the fire? It is nothing but the oxygen. When the oxygen is present in any room, then only the fire is going to break out at that particular area or that particular room. Now, when we are going to remove this oxygen in any room, then what will happen? The fire is not going to break out. Okay, break out. So what we can do, say for example, we have a college. Okay, in college we have a server, and we have to make sure that the server should not get caught any fire. So what we are going to do, as soon as the fire broke out, we are going to remove all the oxygen which is being present in this particular room. Say for example, in this room, if fire broke out, we don't want that this room has to be caught any kind of fires or any lit. Okay, so what we do, as soon as the fire broke out, we are going to remove this oxygen from this room. So how we are going to remove this oxygen? Removing the oxygen is nothing but uh, inserting or adding the vacuum into it. So what we are going to do, we are going to add this vacuum pumps at the some points in the home, and all the vacuum is going to filled with this home. As soon as the vacuum going to filled in this room, so there is not going to be any oxygen, as there is not going to be any oxygen, so fire is not going to broke out in this particular room, and whatever the instrument or whatever the equipment is being present in this room is going to be saved. So this is one of the way we can overcome this fire safety. Okay, understood? Okay. uh, Next thing, this is the fire which is being broke out. So it's hard to overcome such problems. So what we can do, we are just calling the ambulance. So not the ambulance, we are going to call the fire brigade to remove this. And next, what is this? These are the ladders. These are called as the safety ladders. Not safety ladders. These are basically called as fire escape. Sorry, these are called as the fire escapes. Okay, this fire escapes is not so much common in our country. It's mostly in the foreign countries. You must have seen this one of the series which you might have seen, the Friends. They use this fire escape to go here and there around. Okay. So these are the things which we can incorporate so that the people which is staying or the occupant who are staying in the room in this building is going to overcome. Third module is the electrical system and the illumination design in building. So now what exactly is the electrical system? So this is one of the basic things which electrical engineers know about. So we have to have a knowledge about what is basic electricity, like what is single and three-phase supply, protective device in electrical installation, earthing for safety. Earthing you must have seen, it's so much common in any home. Why earthing is provided? So that we should not get any kind of electrical shock. So whenever there is any shock is being we getting, the earthing wire is directly going to pass under the ground. Okay, so that's the earthing safety. Types of earthing, what are the different types of earthing? Then ISS specification. Now Indian Standard Institute has specified some of those specifications so that we can use it for our construction as well. Types of fire, different types of fire is being present, like you must have seen that in normal single phase uh, system, if your home doesn't have any kind of heavy electric equipment, then you are going to use a single phase system. Okay, if we have a high high voltage equipment, or the equipment which consume the higher electricity or having the higher voltage, we have to given the different kinds of firing. we have to give the three-phase system for that purpose, so that the power which is being required for that particular equipment is being used. Okay, so for that purpose we have to use the different kinds of wiring and their choices, planning electrical wiring for building mains and distribution boards, transformer and switchgear, and the layout of substation. These are some of the things which we have to learn in this topic. Next is the principle of illumination design. In this topic, we are going to learn all these things. Okay, what are those things? Visual task, factors affecting visual task, modern theory of lighting, modern wait, modern theory of light and color, synthesis of light, additive and subtractive synthesis of color, luminous flux, candela, solid angle illumination, utilization factor, depreciation factor, MSCP, MHCP, lenses of illumination, classification of lighting, artificial light source, spectral energy distribution, luminous efficiency, color temperature, and color rendering. In this topic, basically, we are going to learn what different kinds of light we can use for the aesthetic purpose. And the second thing is there are different kinds of light which is being present. So that one of the major problem which is being associated with the electricity is the electric bill. We required our electric bill to come as minimum as possible. Okay. For that purpose, what we are going to do, we have to make sure that we are going to consume the less electricity for that purpose. So how we are going to use the less electricity? So for that purpose, you must have seen some of the building in Mumbai itself. They are using the facade. Why they are using the facade? So that the light or the sunlight which is coming out can be used for the day purpose, and for night purpose we have to use this electrical lights and all these things, right? Yeah. Okay, am I audible, Nikhil sir?
Yes, sir. You're audible.
Okay, sorry, because of low internet activity, I was low.
Oh,
Okay,
okay.
okay. So you must have seen some of the buildings in the commercial building. They are using the facade. What is the use of facade? So that the light, sunlight can be come inside, and we can use this sunlight for our purpose. Okay, so that's one of the reason we are using this facade into it. So it ultimately decreases our electricity bill. So these are some of the things which we are going to learn in this illumination design as well. And last one, design of modern lighting. Okay, so modern lighting, the things which I have said right now is come into this topic. Okay, lighting of stores, office, schools, hospital, and house lighting. Elementary idea of special features required and the minimum level of illumination required for the physically handicapped and elderly in the building type. So these are some of the topics which we are going to learn in this topic. Okay. As I have previously said regarding the lightning, as you also must have heard about the green building concept. Okay. So what basically this green building is all about? Green building is making a building in such a manner that initially whatever the cost you have to give, you have to incur it. But after that, after the service of this building, you have to have a minimum amount of money or the everyone just mute it here. Okay, thank you. Okay, so as soon as the building is come into the picture, when building is come into the service, then what we have to do, we have to make sure that there should not be any cost to be incurred on the building. So that's basically the concept of green building. So we can also use these kind of some of the techniques in the green building as well to overcome the problem being associated with it. Okay. Next is, have you heard about the examination which is called as LEED, LEED, LEED examination, or which LEED examination is basically the global world, no, sorry, the global examination. And for national examination, there is the same type of examination which is being conducted by Government of India, which is called as the IGBC. What is IGBC? Indian Green Building Council. So they are some of they conduct some examination regarding the green building. If you certified that, then you will get some certification, and you also get recognition that you are being cleared this exam and you are being called for that purpose. Say for example, we have to give the audit, or building audit is being happening most of the time, so you are being called for that purpose, and you can do, and you can give the ratings to it. So I just want to tell you that you just, after the end of this session, you just go through this IGBC, as well as I will just write it down if you want to, examination, which is called as the IGBC. What is IGBC? Indian Green Building Council. So this is the indigenous examination, and there is another examination which is called as LEED, LEED, LEED examination. Okay, I don't remember exactly the full form of it. Just Google it. You will get to know what exactly it is. Okay. So make sure you are going to all these things, and I will ask the question regarding to it. Okay, in the next lectures. Okay, this is all about this. Now let's move on to the next module. Okay, our next module is deterioration of concrete. Someone has raised it. You can unmute and ask any question. Moto E4 roll number, whoever he is or she is. You want to ask anything? Moto E. Okay, let it be. So next topic is deterioration of concrete structure. Deterioration of concrete structure. In this, what we are going to see, how the concrete has been deteriorated and how we are going to take care about this. So what we are going to learn in this 4.1, causes of deterioration of concrete structure. So effect of climate, moisture, temperature, chemical wears, erosion, and loading on serviceability and the durability. And also we are going to see the design and the construction error. Now what is this design and construction error? These are the some of the error which is being come when you are going to use it, when you are going to design and construct it. So there are some errors like sometimes what happen whenever the reinforcement is come outside, so they, what they do, they just cut it off even though they are of importance. Okay, so these are some of the construction error which we are going to learn in details also. So what are those other construction errors? Next is causes of seepage and leakage in the concrete structure, formation of crack, including those due to corrosion. So causes of seepage and leakage. Seepage and leakage is one of the major drawbacks of concrete. So concrete is porous, as everybody know. We have to make it non-porous as far as possible, but doing so it's not so. Doing so it's too hard. So for that purpose, what we do, we are just applying the epoxy on the surface of concrete to overcome this problem. But still, the using of epoxy throughout the home is not possible. So the problem of seepages and leakages is in concrete is too often, so it's too common. And last is the formation of cracks due to the corrosion. As I have already stated, the steel is get corroded, and because of this corrosion, the progress of corrosion inside the concrete is too much. When the when the when the corrosion has increased in the concrete too much, then it causes the crack on the concrete. So that also we have to taken care of. So that's what we are going to learn in this. Okay, that's the fourth module. Next is condition survey, evaluation, and the damage assessment. So after doing so, we first, what we have to do, we have to first check how much is the problem is being associated to it. Okay, for that purpose, what we have to do, we have to do the diagnostic method and diagnostic methods and analysis. There are for some diagnostic methods for the building repairs. Okay, and next is destructive, semi-destructive, and a non-destructive methods. You must have learned about this non-destructive methods too many times. Okay, what are the non-destructive methods? Mostly this you have heard about this rebound hammer, UPV, and infrared thermography, and all this are some of the methods which we have been used or seen in our day-to-day life. Okay, so that's what we are going to learn. So what is the use of this non-destructive methods and destructive method or semi-destructive method? To take to see whether how much problem is being associated with this building. We can't just see it and regulate, and we can and come into the conclusion that acha, this is what is being happened. So for that purpose, say for example, when we are going to use the rebound hammer, so why rebound hammer? What we are going to get? We are going to get how much is the compressive strength of that particular building or that particular concrete structure. Okay, so that's what we are going to evaluate in this. Okay, so these are some of the non-destructive methods like core test, carbonation test, chloride test. Then next is pantography, corrosion analysis, cover meter test, rebound hammer, ultrasonic pulse velocity test. These are the two tests which we are also going to perform in lab also. Next, crack measurement technique, concrete endoscopy and thermal imaging, pull-off test and pull-out test. These are some of the important non-destructive tests, destructive and semi-destructive tests is being covered in our syllabus. Okay. Next is material and repair methodology, protection of concrete structure and the rebar corrosion protection. And the last topic is something which is totally related to our steel. Steel is one of the integral part of any structural element. So structural element comprises two things as I have already stated, concrete and reinforcement. Previously in most of this syllabus, what we have seen about only the concrete, the problem associated with the concrete like seepages, leakages and all these things. What about the steel? Why we are not concerned about the steel? So for that purpose, there is one topic, there is one module that is called, which is the sixth module, on which we are going to learn about totally about what the steel has gone through over the life of its service. First is 6.1 is the repair analysis and its design. Whatever we are talking about, it's just about the steels and mostly the cracks. So first is the repair analysis and design. Next is repair materials and their desired properties. Next, methodology for cracks and patch repair. Now for overcoming this patch repair, as I've already told you, there are methods like in traditional method, we are just taking the lime and just pour into this, fill into this cracks so that there should not, so that the cracks is not being visible to us. So these are the older method. So what is the latest technology or latest method we can use? We can use the polymer modified mortar, polymer modified concrete, or polymer concrete for that purpose. Okay. Next is injection, grouting, shotcrete, joints and sealant, rebar corrosion, cracks repairs. Okay. Next is protective materials and their properties for the moisture barrier system. Now, as I've already stated that moisture is one of the problem for any building. Okay, whenever the moisture come into the picture, what problems we are going to get? First is leakages, then seepages, then if it is going to come on the wall, so what we are going to do? The wall is going to get deteriorated. We have seen there are some of the patches, black color or white color of patches is being shown, on the wall. So these are some of the problem is being associated to it. So that's what we have to overcome. Next is above grade and below grade waterproofing of concrete structure. So waterproofing is also the same as that of the moisture intrusion thing. Next, system like integral, crystalline and coating membranes, etc. Next is thermal protection and coating. Wait, I'll just clear it up. Thermal protection, coatings, then method of corrosion protection and the corrosion inhibitor. So as I've already stated, what is corrosion inhibitor? Corrosion inhibitor is nothing but one chemical which can add to the water, and after applying on the steel, the rate of corrosion has decreased abruptly. Okay, so these are the things which we have to use it. And last is the corrosion resistant steel and the cathodic protection. This is also one of the topic related to the steel. So up to here, this is the syllabus. What we are going to learn. Wait. Okay. So this is the subject what we are going to learn throughout this subject. Okay. These are the topics for it. Next comes the list of practicals. Only having the theory thing is not going to work it. We have to use practically. We have to apply this theoretical knowledge practically. For that purpose, there are some practical which has been given by the Mumbai University. These are the carbonation test by spraying phenomena. Okay. Wait. carbonation test by spraying phenolphthalein. So basically there is one phenolphthalein indicator which is being you must have used in chemistry lab as well. We just have to spray it and have to check how much is the carbonation is being penetrated into it. Okay. Next is the non-destructive testing of the concrete structure by using rebound hammer, and non-destructive testing method of concrete structure by using the UPV meter. So these are the two non-destructive methods. Okay. Out of this six experiment, this carbonation test and the non-destructive testing of concrete by rebound hammer, these two are the common practicals for the advanced concrete technology and building service and repairs. Okay, so these two are the common. Next is the outdoor exposure test to measure weathering of coating. Next, test of flexibility of coating by applying on a thin sheet. Next, test of effectiveness by measuring water absorption of coating applied on the cardboard. I will discuss about all these things in detail in our lab. Okay. So these are the total 6 practicals which has been given by Mumbai University that we are going to perform all of these 6 practicals. Okay. Next comes why we are learning this subject. What is the basic principle behind it? Why this subject? Why not any other subject? Now that you have choose this subject, you must have known why you have chosen this rather than advanced concrete technology. Don't be get into that this one is theoretical, it's easy and all this thing, that's why I have taken this. It's not like that. That's not the solution of your problem. So what is the thing which comes to your mind that why you have choose this subject? That's what I'm going to tell you. Okay. First is why this subject, maintaining the proper condition of building for any building. Now that you are living in your home houses and home, so whenever you see your home, so what will happen? There are always some problems being associated to it. So what you have to do, you have to maintain it properly or regularly throughout your life. Okay, throughout the life of the building, not your life. Okay, so that's what you are going to learn in this. Next, what is the need of this? To ensure safety of the occupant and public. Okay, whenever we talk about repairing anything, it's not only because it doesn't look good, that's why we are repairing. You also have to take care that the occupants who is living or the public who is being living in this particular building or working and in that particular building has to have a safety measures to it. Okay, say for example there is one building on which the slab is being collapsed, slab not plaster is being collapsing a day or 2 days. So are we going to visit that building? No. Why? Because we are not feel safe there. Even if there is some crack, so it's okay. It's okay to have a crack. It only gives the unaesthetical prospect, but it's not going to damage you. It's not going to hinder your safety. Okay. That's the need of this subject. Now, what is the objective of building maintenance? Why we are maintaining the building? Okay. First is to preserve machinery in the good operating condition. First thing is preserve machinery. Whenever we talk about the machinery, the first thing which comes to your mind is some big machines which take the higher load or higher voltage and all these things. So we have to preserve it as if you are living in your home. So what is the one big machinery which you are being using right now? So say for example you are using the pump, right? What is if you have a well, so what you are going to do? You are using the pump so that the well water directly get into your storage tank which is at your terrace. Okay, so this is one of the machinery. So you have to take care of this machinery. So what are the precautions you have to take? What are the measures you have to take so that it is going to be in the good operating condition? Next is to restore it back to its original standard. Whenever something has happened or something wrong is being happened to the building, so what we do, we have to make sure that it is to be get into the it is to be restored back to its previously as it is. Okay, so that also you have to take into consideration. Next is to improve the facilities depending upon the development taking place in the building engineering. Now improving the facilities means what? Now you are living in your home from say for example from childhood have you seen your home as it is? No. Over a period of time as you have grown like 20 to 22 years old, you have seen so many changes in your building or in your apartment or in your home. So why you have seen all these changes because you have to use this building so that it can help you to reduce your work or reduce your energy for doing so. Say for example, in previously in earlier days, what our moms, whenever you have a well, so what your mom used to do, your mom used to just take the water from the well and directly going to use for the kitchen purpose and other clothing purpose. But now as the time passes, we have installed the pumps. Now that pumps you have installed, so what has done, the work you are going to imply for the energy which you are going to use for that purpose is going to decrease, and this improves the facilities. So what you have done, because of the development taking place in the building engineering, what you have done, you have improved the facilities to it. Okay, so that's what is the objective of the building maintenance as well. Okay, understood. Next is types of repair service. Now there are some types of repair service like day-to-day repair service. Okay. Next is the annual repair service, and last one is the special repair service. Okay. Now we'll see that what exactly it is. Okay, this is not a topic of your syllabus. It's just a brief introduction which I want to just give it to you so that you will understand what we are going to learn into it and how we have to progress to it. Okay. First is day-to-day repair. In day-to-day repair, what is it? Purpose is to ensure satisfactory continuing function of various services in the building. Say, for example, something has happened, which is not that much severe thing. So you can just repair it in day-to-day life. Okay. Say, for example, it stopped functioning right now. So you just go to this machine or something building and go to that particular wall or something which has been damaged, and you just repair it yourself, right? That is called as the day-to-day repair service. Next comes the annual repair service. Annual repair service is basically this repair deals with the aesthetics of building. So whenever you are staying in your home, you have to make sure that you are living in a such home which looks aesthetically pleasant. Okay, you just don't stay at a home which is not so good looking and all these things. You have to make sure that it should aesthetically good. Why? Because if it is aesthetically good, then we feel that we have to stay in the building or stay in that apartment or stay in your home. Otherwise, you don't feel that living at that particular home or house. Okay, for that purpose, you have to give some money or contribute some money for the annual repairs. So some of the annual repairs is like painting the wall. Mostly annually we used to paint the wall during our functions. Okay, right? So painting the wall is also come to your repair services. Okay, why we are painting the wall? So that our building looks beautiful or it looks aesthetically pleasant, or which decors our rooms as well. Okay, next is special repair service. This special repair service is used to replace the existing part of the building which get deteriorated. Okay, a special service when you are going to use, you are not going to use in day or annually. What you are going to do whenever something major happened, major thing has been happened, then what you are going to do, you are replacing the existing part of the building which is being get deteriorated, and you are totally going to get repaired it. Say for example, there is one wall which is totally come in environmental exposure. So what the problem is going to be associated during the rainy season or in monsoon, the rain is being percolating. Now you have tried so many ways to overcome this problem, but nothing is going to work. So what you are going to do, you are going to remove or totally remove this particular building, not the building, totally wall, and going to make another or construct another wall at the same point, so that the problem which is being associated for so long is not going to be taken place. So that's what we are going to consider. So this comes under the special repair services, to replace the existing part of the building which is get deteriorated. Okay, now how to overcome this problem? Now whenever the problem is being associated, it is due to because some error which we are going to taken place, which we are doing. So how to overcome this problem? Now as I have already stated that this subject is nothing but the MBBS of our civil engineering. Okay, medical of our civil engineering. So as as we are human, so what measures we do so that we don't have to go to doctors? So what you do, you basically eat good food, have a good lunch, exercise regularly. So these are the something which makes your body or which makes your health in good position. So that we can overcome, so that you don't have to go to a doctors for small and small reasons. Okay. So for that purpose, what we have to do so that the building is going to be in the service life. So during the design and the construction stage, following points should be kept in our mind. So there are some points which you should be kept in your mind during the construction. So what are those points? During the design and the first point is right choice of the building materials. Whenever you are using this, you must have learned this in the building materials and construction technology as well, that whenever we choose any material, we have to make sure that the material is of good quality. Okay, if it is not of the good quality, say for example you are using the cement which has so many lumps in it, so are we going to use the cement? No. If you are going to use the cement, then ultimately in some days, after a decade or after some time, the cement is going to get removed from it and the building life is going to get deteriorated. Okay, so you have to make a right choice of the building materials. What are the building materials? Cement, aggregate, sand, and steel, then other things. These are the all the building materials. So we have to make sure that the quality of this material is as good as possible. But in most of the construction site, these things has not into consideration. That's why this ISI things and ISI marks thing has to be come into the picture. Like you must have learned about that in the advertise also. There's Bangar Steel and TMT Saria and all this. They have said that this steel has been specified with ISI mark, right? What is this ISI mark? The ISI mark shows that this steel has all the specification which has been stated in the ISI code. Okay, ISI is what? Indian Standards Institution. Okay, that's what you have to take care of. Next is selection of suitable construction techniques. Now there are some construction techniques which you have to select it. Now selection of suitable construction techniques means what? Now, there are some older constructor or a traditional method which most of the times we have been used. So using this construction technique is not going to cater to this situation. Okay. So for that purpose, you have to have our inculcate habit so that you will get to know the different construction techniques which is being available in market. Okay. So please, Ismail Khan, do you want to ask anything or you just mute? Do you want to say something? Okay, muted. Selection of construction technique. Next is adequate specification for the construction work. Now, whenever we do any construction work, there are some set of rules which we have to follow. That's why you are learning the engineering. Why you are learning the civil engineering? When you go to any contractor who is not civil engineer, they are using the experience construct the building. Okay, but if you as a civil engineer, you know how to construct a building. Why? Because you know what are the specifications you have to do, what are the steps, what are the measures you have to take care of while constructing any work. Okay, next is the effective supervision. Okay, effective supervision is what? While constructing anything, you are constructing any building, so you have to supervise it perfectly or effectively so that there should not be any malpractice going to happen in the site area. Okay, and last is the rectification of defects. So this is one of the important thing which I want to tell you this, which I also personally feel that rectification of defects. Whenever, as you as an engineer, when you go to the site, whenever you are doing something, now something wrong will happen. So what person used to do? They try to hide these things. They don't want you to show that acha, I have done this mistake, so I just hide it so that nobody can understand that I have done something wrong to this building or something, any work. So that point of time you will get saved, that acha, nothing has been happened and I have been saved. But okay, 10 minutes has left, I will just wrap it up as soon as possible. Okay, nothing has been happened and you are being saved, but over a period of time the problem which you have tried to save is going to highlight and something is being deteriorated. So these are some of the things which civil engineer or the construction industry is doing. They try to hide the things which they have been mistaken. So I personally assure you that you better not to do that and rectify this defect then and there itself. If you are rectifying that, then you will understand what you have done wrong. Then next time you are not going to do the same mistake again and again. Okay. So rectify the defect then and there itself so that for you and for the building also, this problem is not going to happen. Okay. So rectification of defect is also one of the things which overcomes this building service and repairs problem. So these are the things which is so important for you to understand so that the problem is not going to happen to your building. So I just want you to just write it down or whatever you have to do. The video is also available for you, so you can write down these things as well. Okay. Next is, and the last thing, when there is any inherent defect in the design and the construction both, the maintenance cost rises disproportionately to higher level and anticipated life of the building is reduced. So what does this sentence mean? When there is any inherent defect, what is inherent defect? The defect which is being there from inside. Like what are the defects? It's nothing but in the design and the construction. As I have already stated, there are two things which is so problematic to the construction industry. First is the environmental impact, and second one is the design and the construction. So environment, we can't take care about it. Whatever the severe condition or whatever the environmental exposure condition on which you are constructing it, you have to take care about it. So you can overcome that problem. But design and construction thing is something which is the individual problem. Okay, so you have to design and construct it properly so that this inherent defect is not going to reflect to you. Okay, so because so if you are going to overcome this problem, the maintenance cost, the cost of maintenance is rises disproportionately when you are avoiding these things. Okay, and to higher level, and the anticipated life of the building is reduced. So what is the mean by the anticipated life? Say for example, if you have construct any building, so you just think of that it should serve at least 50 years. Please switch, mute yourself and say something. I can't see your name. Okay, so the anticipated life of the building is comparatively reduced. So say for example, you are constructing a building or a house for 50 years. So you have to think of that now anyhow. The building is not going to get any kind of damages or need any kind of service for at least 50 years, but it doesn't happen. Okay, so you have to make sure that this should not be happen, and you have to make your life of the building as more as possible.